Due to some work-related reasons, the guy is currently staying at his parents' house. While going through his stuff in his room, Tatsu comes across a nostalgic photo of his neighbor, Rai. She always had the biggest smile on her face and was so energetic. However, the good image of Ri soon disappears from Tatsu's mind when he sees her in the neighborhood. To his surprise, she is a sad-looking girl who offers him a cigarette. Ri tells Tatsu that she just went shopping and offers him some snacks. Confused, Tatsu stands there taking every snack she offers while wondering what on earth happened to her. Her snacks just keep coming and coming. Once she is done with her rain of snacks on Tatsu, she quickly bids him bye and gets inside her house. Once in, Ri bends down while repeating the same question in her mind. Why is he here? Tears fill in her eyes after seeing his old neighbor, Tatsu. After a little crying session, Ri wipes her tears and takes a bit out of her snack thinking it still tastes so good. Tatsu remembers Ri saying good morning to him when they were little. Her greetings were so energetic and happy. She used to be like, good morning, it is nice to be able to see each other at the start of the day. He is positive that Ri used to be the most happy and energetic girl. But now, when he met her in the store, she welcomed him so badly. It was not energetic and happy at all. It seemed like she was tired of her life. Ri takes Tatsu's stuff and begins making a bill for them. A little nervous, Tatsu stands there looking at Rai, who welcomes him as if she is contemplating if she should have welcomed him in the first place or not. Later, Rai is having her break time. She lights a cigarette to pass the time while wondering about Tatsu. She thinks she really doesn't want to be seen by him. Quickly, she completes her cigarette and takes out a paper that reminds her of her childhood with Tatsu. They used to play piano together. A flashback of her beautiful memories with Tatsu puts a smile on her face for once. She used to love to play the piano, and Tatsu loved listening to her playing the piano. Later, when Tatsu comes back home from work while thinking about the business being tough this time. Just then, he hears Ri playing a guitar. Going back a few minutes ago, Ri decided to play guitar as no one is usually around at this time of the day, especially Tatsu. She doesn't like it when the house is empty. However, she sits down and begins to play guitar. But she soon realizes that she can't hit the notes. It is so much easier to press the piano keys. At present, when she spots Tatsu, Ri gets nervous. She points out he came early today. Tatsu replies, saying he thought he would stop by the house during the lunch break. But Rai runs away, stating she will see him later. This makes Tatsu wonder if Ri began playing the guitar. He remembers her asking if he wants to listen to her playing the piano. He told her he liked it, and Ri replied saying she would play all his favorite songs for him. At night, Ri is sitting on a sofa at her home thinking about something. Just then, the door opens and her mama comes in. Ri welcomes her mama, stating she came back pretty late today. She asks mama if she has eaten already. Her mama replies saying she got some food after work, and asks Ri about her. Rai replies saying she had a bento. Mama advises Rai that she should be eating something a bit healthier. The next day, Tatsu's mother asks him if he has talked to Ri. They hadn't seen each other since middle school, to which Tatsu agrees. He remembers her smile as bright as the sun, but now it's the opposite. He wonders if he will ever be able to see her like that again. On the other hand, Rai lets her mother know that Tatsu's mother cooked food for them. She says she is very happy as she loves her cooking. Her mom comes into the lounge and Rai repeats herself saying Tatsu's mother, Ashikara, shared some stew with them. Hungry, Ri's mother decides to eat the food, and the two sit down and have the meal while thinking about the big chunks of bites they are taking. However, they find it very delicious. The next day, Tatsu is thinking about how Ri used to be so energetic. She used to ask him to walk home together. But now, she has changed. Now when they meet each other, Rai runs away while making excuses that she has something to do. Ri doesn't want Tatsu to see her like this, but she is too afraid to go back to how she used to be. That's why she will need to deploy the Operation Steer Cleat of Tatsu. But just then, she gets distracted by him competing with his co-worker. Annoyed, she thinks Tatsu is here and he is hard at work. Some days later, while going back home, Tatsu wonders about Rai. He questions why is she like this now. He can't stop thinking about her. He remembers Ri told him that when she grows up she is going to sing and play on the piano. If she can, then she will make a song just for him. A song that he can listen to even when they are apart. She promised him that she would make a song just for him. He is in the midst of thinking when Ri comes in front of him with her weekly grocery. flashbacks come before his eyes. Tatsu remembers Ray playing the piano just for him, and he used to enjoy every moment of it. He tried to look at her as if she had never seen a girl before, which made Ri blush. However, before he could say something, Ri turns around and is about to leave after saying, doesn't he have to go home too? Just then, Tatsu gets a flashback of Rai saying she wishes he would invite her to hang out once in a while too. So Tatsu musters up his courage and stops Ri. He asks her why don't they go get dinner together. Shocked, Ri stands there thinking about what should she do now. Working at a convenience store, Ri sees all sorts of different customers. Just like that, she came across a judgy customer who commented on her dyed hair and said young people these days are so unpleasant. He asked her to take her job more seriously, which scared Ri. After work, when Tatsu asks her if she would like to go to dinner with him, Ray, who is already a little sad about her day, lies that she isn't hungry. But soon her lie comes out when her stomach growls a little, followed by more growling. Tatsu gets a little nervous after hearing the sounds from her stomach along with her lie. Already ashamed of what just happened, Ri agrees to go to dinner with Tatsu. She just dug her own grave. A few days ago, Ri was busy scrolling on her phone as she had no energy to do anything. Just then her phone smacked on her face. In pain, she covered her face for some time to make herself calm down. At present, Tatsu and Ri decided to go together. Tatsu begins to walk when he turns around and holds Ri's hand, stating they used to go get food together. He will take her to a family restaurant. Stunned, Ri looks at him and agrees to whatever he says. Back then, when her phone smacked, Ri decided to exercise a little. After 3 sets, she looked at herself in the mirror thinking she was a little bit too thin. Maybe she should be eating a bit more. Because of being underweight, her voice is also not as loud as it used to be. She also needs to stop smoking, which isn't happening anytime soon. At present, Tatsu buys a candy and Ri gets a flashback of their childhood. She wonders if he remembered her favorite flavor. But soon she shakes herself out of it. She thinks there is no way he would remember her favorite flavor of candy. Back then, they used to eat these candies together in the family restaurant. Tatsu offers her the snack, stating she can have this for now. Eat this to ease her hunger a little bit. Ri takes the candy and thanks Tatsu for it. She opens the candy and munches on it while thinking this is so good. She thinks Tatsu is so considerate of her. On another day, Ri was going to work when Alphard stopped by and offered Ri a ride. But Ri denied the offer, stating she just wanted to walk today. Alphard asked Ri to come by the family restaurant soon. She asked Ri if something happened recently. Ri replied saying nothing really happened particularly. Alphard asked Ri if a boy she had eyes on moved in next door or something. Her guess was way too good that day. Now when Tatsu and Ri are going to the family restaurant, Ri looks at the hand that is being held by Tatsu. She gets flashbacks of her childhood. This is exactly how they used to go to the restaurant back then, holding hands, laughing, and enjoying their time together. Ri thinks Tatsu's hand is really big and rugged. She wonders how many years has it been since they have been like this. Setting that aside, the fact that Tatsu grabbed her hand so naturally, she wonders if he has a partner or something like that. She remembers that Tatsu always hesitated to hold her hand back then. Both their families used to come to a family restaurant together. It is oddly nostalgic but a little sad. Seems like it will be a bit lonely from now on. Tatsu and Ri stop when they finally come across the restaurant thinking about their childhood. Just then, Tatsu realizes that he is holding Ri's hand and leaves it while apologizing as he didn't notice. On the other hand, Ri also apologizes, stating she should be the one apologizing. Ri remembers her father smoking while they were in that same restaurant. She remembers calling him out for his act. But his father simply asked her to go and play with Tatsu. Angry, Ri told his father she had already asked him to stop. Her father said he had liked to quit. He rubbed his hands on her hair as a gesture of love and asked her to make sure she didn't smoke. Angry, Ri told her father that he was going to make her hair all smelly. When they entered the restaurant, Alphard greeted Ri and asked if her seat was in the smoker's seat. Ri agrees and then realizes she is with Tatsu. Embarrassed, she denies it and says she would like a seat for 2. She clarifies she isn't here for smoking. When Ri looks at Alphard, she questions the looks Alphard is giving. Alphard comes close to Ri and asks her if she is here with her partner. Annoyed, Ri asks Alphard to stop. When they sit on the same seats they used to sit on back then, Ri remembers some flashy people from the past. She got back then that they were scary. But now, when Tatsu thinks about it, Ri, despite looking like those slashy people in the past, isn't scary at all. Ri points out that this is all too nostalgic. They were all sitting in this seat and eating together. She asks Tatsu if he would like a drink. Just then, a group of people come into the restaurant, which takes away Ri's and Tatsu's attention for a bit. The guys sit with a band noise and begin to laugh out loud. This makes Tatsu think these guys are a bit scary. After that, they order dinner, and soon their food arrives. All this while, Ri told Tatsu that she is a freelancer now. Her parents are no longer together, and she has quit playing the piano. While eating food, Rai says the piano is gone. She hasn't touched in years, while Tatsu remembers how happy she used to be when she played piano. Meanwhile, Rai remembers a memory from her childhood with her mama in the same restaurant. She offered her mama to have a drink that was made of melon juice, calico, blended tea, and a bunch of other stuff she liked. Her mama took the sip and blunted out that the drink was disgusting. At present, Rai tells Tatsu about her parents no longer being together. She says she guesses it can be called a personality mismatch. It is more like a discord. She explains what she has been doing since her parents decided to split, while Tatsu thinks she is walking like nothing really happened the whole time. It was really shocking to be able to talk about it so casually. He is thinking too much about it. He remembers one time he was running after Ri when his mom grabbed him by his shirt and asked him to quit running around. Tatsu apologized for running. Meanwhile, Ri stopped and looked at him shocked. Just then, she turned around, which made Tatsu ask what was wrong. At present, Tatsu asks Ri about the toy piano. He asks if she still has it. He knows maybe it is a bit too late to ask about it, but still gives it a try. Rai responds saying she threw it away. It's not making any noises anymore. However, she remembers clearly spotting that piano in the shop. She asked her mama she wondered if Santa would bring this piano this time. Her mama looked at her saying it was rare, as Ri doesn't usually ask for presents. She looked at Rai's desperation to get that toy piano and decided to buy it for her. She told Rai that she has been a good girl this year, so she thinks Santa will stop by. This made Ri very happy and she got excited about it. Once done with food, Ri says she is going to order something to drink and asks Tatsu if he wants anything. Tatsu denies it and says it's been a while since they have talked to each other. Ri says she didn't expect they would talk in style considering he is wearing a suit. She takes a sip out of her drink, stating she can't do it without drinking. With that, Rai takes a sip, then gulps in a glass, and then almost a whole bottle of drink. And this whole time, Tatsu looks at her wondering isn't her pace a bit fast. Soon, Rai is already drunk and not in her senses anymore. Tatsu tells Rai that her whole vibe has changed. He says it's not just about her hair. He feels like she has matured a lot, which is obvious. Drunk, Rai says Tatsu has also changed. He is so much cooler now. After that, she stands up and says she is going to the salad bar. From there, she brings a bowl. She sits down and sings random things, which makes Tatsu think he is pretty drunk. Soon, Alphard comes in with a cake and coffee. Ri tells Tatsu that she knows Alphard. Alphard interrupts her and tells Tatsu that they are great friends. She looks at Ri and Tatsu and asks Tatsu if he must be her partner. She says it is nice to meet him. Irritated, Ri clarifies to Alphard that he isn't her partner. Alphard had made a special cake for Rai and Tatsu. Her co-workers were quite impressed when she brought the cake out. They were amazed as they had never seen a cake like this before. Alphard said she decorated the cake with some berries and told them the secret ingredient for the glaze, and how she made the dough nice and springy. While she was discussing her cake, her manager listened to her conversation with her co-workers and called someone stating she would like to see how this cake would perform on their menu. Once done eating, Tatsu and Rai go to the cash counter where Tatsu pays the bill. He then looks at Rai, who is really out of her senses at the time. Just then, Rai confesses her feelings to Tatsu and tells him that she loves him. This is how the accused later describes her confession at the time of the crime. When Rai comes back to her senses, she is in complete shock. She says she doesn't remember anything and that she never said anything like this. She gets irritated and says she wasn't in her senses, so none of that counts. Last night, when they were going back home, Rai couldn't walk properly anymore. She told Tatsu about it and he sat down for her, stating he would carry her. This made her a little nervous as she stood there thinking about something. She used to have monkey rides on Tatsu when they were kids. It was all so natural in the past. But now, when she thinks about it, she is a little hesitant to get carried on by Tatsu. However, Ri still mustered up her courage and grabbed on Tatsu's back with her legs. But she was leaning away from him. Tatsu told her that if she kept like this, it would be difficult for him to carry her. After some hesitation, Ri finally gives in and leans on Tatsu like she normally used to. And like that, they walked home. On their way, she tells Tatsu that she hasn't thanked his mom yet. The stew she made for her was really good. Also, it's been a while since he has seen her mom. Tatsu laughs a little and tells Rai that he is a little scared to see her. Rai says to be fair, he got scolded by his mom a lot. She asks him about his dad. She asks if he is going to see him too. Tatsu replies, saying he will probably visit his dad soon as well. She asks Tatsu to bring her along too, but Tatsu remains silent about it. They walk back home while Rai leans on Tatsu's back like they used to back then. Just then, they come across a park that looks really spooky at night. Rai tells Tatsu that has stayed away from it most of the time. They stand there for a moment when the swings begin to move and make a creaking sound. Terrified for their lives, Tatsu runs away from there while holding Rai. Soon, they reach Rai's home. Rai keeps leaning on Tatsu for a brief moment and then decides to hop off and apologize about it. And with that, Rai hops off Tatsu's back. She looks at Tatsu's back thinking it is so warm. But she soon realizes that today was just a one-time thing. This makes Rai sad. She thanks Tatsu for the day and asks him to take care. She wishes him good luck with his work and is about to enter her home when Tatsu asks her when can they hang out next. This shocks Rai as she stands there thinking what to say next. A special brain cell board meeting takes place in Rai's mind. All her emotions are rushing in at once, but at last, comfort wins and she realizes that it is all beyond her control. Her sadness makes her think Tatsu probably thinks she is nothing but trouble, while joy makes her think it looks like they are back to square one. She wonders when can they hang out next. Excited that she will get to hang out with Tatsu again, they can spend more time together. Rai suggests they can hang out when she has a work off or something like that. And without wasting a second, Tatsu agrees to meet her again when she has a work off. One day, Rai is walking to go somewhere when she comes across a cat. Terrified, she runs away from it. Just then, she comes across another one who hisses at her. In return, Rai hisses back as well. After the decision is made, Tatsu bids Rai goodbye and thinks he gets to hang out with her again. He thinks about how he began to carry her and wonders maybe at any rate. He shouldn't have told her that she was hard to carry. On the other hand, Rai is excited about meeting Tatsu again and wonders what should they do that day. With that, she begins the meeting to decide where they will go with Tatsu. She asks all her emotions to share their best ideas. She gets answers like aquarium, theme park, and zoo. Soon all her emotions are hissing at each other and saying she should go with their idea. After that, Rai's mom comes back home. Rai welcomes her mama. Her mama asks if she has eaten anything, to which Rai responds saying she got food somewhere. Rai asks her mom if she has eaten anything or if she should make something for work. But in response, her mom says she is tired, so she will be going straight to bed. With nothing left to say, Rai agrees to whatever her mom says. Rai's mom puts her bag on the table and changes into her banana night suit to call it a night. After that, she is about to enter her room when Rai tells her mom that she is going to apply for some full-time jobs. She almost has all her qualifications. Her mom asks Rai if doesn't she already support them with her current job. Rai replies saying she feels like a full-time position would be a bit more secure. Her mom replies saying she can do whatever she thinks is best. Once in bed, Rai's mom thinks about Rai's decision. She imagines her daughter in the office and thinks she cannot even imagine Rai working in an office. In the past, Rai went to an amusement park with her dad. She was very happy about it. She told her dad that the amusement park was so much fun and decided to go with Mama next time. But her dad told her that Mama and Papa were very busy. Just then, she sniffed her dad and said he smelled like cigarettes. Her dad asked her to make sure she never smokes. Irritated, Rai said she would never smoke. She told her dad she doesn't like smoking, but she really loves Papa. This made her dad smile as she asked if she loved him now. She played with her dad's hair and made different shapes while she was having a ride on his shoulder. After some time and plenty of shapes, her dad asked her to quit messing around up there. She remembers one time she saw her dad smoking in the backyard. She asked him if cigarettes taste good. Her dad replied saying they tasted pretty bad. Ree said they make people feel all floaty, which is what someone said on the TV. This concerned her dad, who asked her what kind of TV is she watching. He said smoking doesn't really make anyone feel better. The only thing smoking does is serve as a temporary fix. One time, Ree was watching a drama on TV. Someone was begging another person to marry her. But the other person denied, saying he couldn't do that and they should break up. Just then, Ree's dad came in and asked what was she watching. He looked at the actress on the TV and said this actress has been pretty popular lately. He has seen her on a bunch of stuff. Ree replied saying she had no clue. She has never seen this lady before in her life. Her words were too harsh for her dad. He responded by saying this drama is from 10 years ago. Ever since the dinner night, Tatsu has gotten to talk with Ree a bit more. He is glad as he feels like her smile is slowly returning with some new faces as well. To discover some never-before-seen Ree's expressions before, they found themselves deep in a remote area of town. The workers there looked at Rai and thought it was her, while Rai was busy making weird-looking faces at them. In the past, as soon as Tatsu spotted Ree, she would vanish from sight. But recently, she has started to appear. In the past, Ree was always scared of cats. One time, she was walking when she came across a cat and got scared. The cat was about to come at her when Tatsu came in to rescue her. The event still traumatizes Ree, as she never thought Tatsu would come out like this. Ree is affected by Tatsu's return in a positive way. Her smile is slowly coming back, and she is beginning to enjoy her life a little once more. Just like that, she is thinking about trying to play piano one more time. The next day, when Ree wakes up from her sleep, she does some stretching and is ready to go. A flashback of their memory is shared when Ree asks Tatsu if he likes her new piano. Tatsu was really impressed by it and said he liked it a lot. Just then, Ree thought of a really good idea for a song and began to play the piano while Tatsu sat there listening to it. After that, slowly, Ree became more and more engrossed in her music. Ree goes to buy some stuff in the convenience store. In the candy section, she comes across a Pecky candy. She finds out that they just released a new gummy flavor. It reminds her of Tatsu, and she decides to buy some for Tatsu as well. However, on break, she eats the candy. On another day in the past, Ree can be seen playing piano. She played it very fast and then asked Tatsu how it was. Tatsu, amazed as always, says it was good. Later, when Ree meets Tatsu, she tells him about the candy, stating she has been addicted to this candy lately. Just then, both of them remember something and rustle through their bags to find something. At the same time, they take up the candy and show it to each other. This surprises the two, as it turns out that both of them bought each other the same candy. Ree didn't really make any friends in school. She spent all of her time writing songs. When someone asked Ri if she wanted to play with them, Ree would decline, stating she just had a really good idea for a song. Now it is clear to Tatsu, but at the time, it felt like his ability to support Ree was slowly fading away. Ree and Tatsu open the candy and eat it. It turns out to be sour but delicious, so the two enjoy the candy while walking side by side. Ree always used to write songs. In middle school, second year, she did the same thing, but her smile was fading away because of the continuous quarreling of her parents. On the day of the entrance ceremony, Tatsu congratulated Ree for passing her entrance exam. When Ree looked at Tatsu, she thought he looked so good in his school uniform. Tatsu told Ree that her uniform suited her a lot. However, Ree was too busy thinking about Tatsu. At home, when she got ready, Ree came out of her room all excited for her entrance ceremony. But when she greeted her parents good morning in a very happy and joyful mood, all she heard was a sad and lazy reply. She still tried to ignore that and asked her mama what was for breakfast. But her mama gave her a cold reply saying toast. At school, Ree was asked by her classmates if she could play piano. They asked her to play something for them. So Ree agreed and played a song for them. Everyone enjoyed it and said her song was pretty unique. It has got a very distinctive song. Ree also felt really proud of herself. She is self-taught, so she doesn't know how to play normally. While Ree was having a little bit of a good time at school, she had a very depressing environment at home. Her parents were filing for separation. Her parents met each other in a smoke-free restaurant. The dad took out the registration for separation and apologized to Ree's mom. Her mom asked Ree's dad what were they going to do about Ree. He replied saying he will make sure to provide child support. Ree's mom said they haven't been talking to each other much. Ree knows that they have been acting differently and asked if he had noticed. But all Ri's dad said was that he was sorry. Ri's mom said she would allow him to see Ri from time to time. She told him that Ri really loved her, which he already knew. When Ri came back home that day, her mom was already waiting for her. Her mom was about to tell her that they were separating, but before she could finish her sentence, Ri embraced her mother. Ri's mom couldn't say anything after this for some time as she tried to not cry. After that, Ri came inside her room where she found a box of cigarettes near their family photo. As she grabbed the cigarette, tears fell her cheeks on the table, and she kept asking why. They drifted apart from Tatsu's family after that. She is sure that being around a family with circumstances like them would have caused them trouble. Ri looked outside the window where Tatsu was waiting for her, but she decided not to go and see him. Instead, she sat down on the floor and cried her heart out. After all that, when Ri told her mom that she wanted to make music, her mom was not happy about it. She asked Ri what about finding a job. But Ri responded saying she really wanted to make music. However, after hearing this, Ri's mom said that's fine. She can do whatever she likes. Ri called her mom to check up on her, to which her mom assured her that she was fine. She asked Ri not to worry about her. She went to bed stating she had to work tomorrow, leaving Ri alone. And like that, Ri began to focus on playing music. And after a lot of hard work and jobs, she bought herself a piano. Ri worked really hard after that as well. She used to work on making music and singing and making music again. She used to work till late at night and compose music. Despite all her hard work, she couldn't score good marks in her singer and songwriter auditions. One day, she was walking back home while holding her result card. She thought her mama had been looking awfully tired recently. Ever since Dad left them, she has had to work more. She tried to clarify that Dad didn't leave them, he left Mom. But things were pretty clear to her still. She didn't want to agree with the reality. Because of her stressing about her mom, Ri couldn't focus on her interviews. When she was auditioning, she wondered what if this audition ended up being a dud. Even if she passes, what if she doesn't make any progress? She keeps thinking about her mom and doesn't focus on her music. Because of this, she is topped by the interviewer who asks her if she even knows what she is playing. And like that, after giving so many interviews, Ri couldn't pass any of them. Defeated, she rests her face on the desk, wondering what has she been doing all this time. What is she going to do now? She can't do anything but play the piano. After some thinking, she wondered if she should quit piano. She is going to have to start working. She wondered what job could she even do. How is she going to support Mama? She can't give up yet. She has still got this. She doesn't want to put on the brave face anymore. She doesn't want to think about anything anymore. She just wants to give up. Ori was so done with herself at this point. Her parents separated, her dad leaving her mom and her as well. She not being friends with Tatsu anymore. She could no longer face the reality. And because of all this, this was the first time she picked up the cigarette box for herself. Ri lit the cigarette and smoked it for the first time, which made her cough a little. She found it gross at the time. As if cigarettes weren't enough for her, she decided to cut off her hair and dye it so that she could become someone other than herself. She even pierced her tongue, as for her. The pain of piercing was a penance for her failures. Later, when her mama came back home from work, she was shocked to see Ri in such a state. Ri assured her that it was nothing and that it was fine. But she forgot her mama knew her too well. Ri ran away upstairs and her mama ran after her. Ri slammed the door of her room and began to cry out loud while her mama also cried, stating there's no way she is fine. After that, she decided not to play piano ever again. She thought her mama didn't like her anymore. She rested her face on the desk while thinking about Tatsu. She really wanted to see him again, but for him to see her like this was not acceptable. After going through so much, Ri was not expecting anything good from life. She goes out to go to her part-time job when she meets Tatsu all dressed up in a suit. He greets her good morning, which shocks her. After her 3 sets of exercising while jamming in loud music, Ri feels very hot. She lays on the ground thinking about Tatsu. She remembers the time she had with Tatsu when they were little. This makes her want to go to the pool. Ri checks her phone to find Tatsu messaging him. He asks her what does she wants to do on her day off. She replies saying she wants to go to the pool. Tatsu asks if she is talking about the public pool they used to go to. And with that, he agrees to go with Ri to the public pool. This makes Ri excited as she kicks the air with joy. With that, Ri decides to take herself shopping to buy some clothes for the day out with Tatsu. She checks out a suit and imagines herself in it. This makes her wonder if the dress is too bold or if is it fine. On the day of going to the pool, Tatsu messages Rai letting her know that he is parked outside. Rai looks outside her window only to find Tatsu waving at her. This excites her, and she waves back stating she is coming. However, their excitement is soon ended when they reach the public pool. It turns out the public pool got closed down. This makes Rai sob as she had so many plans for the day and everything is ruined. But Tatsu assures her that it is fine. Turns out, Tatsu is much smarter than we thought he would be. He decides to go to the beach instead. Rai came here with Tatsu a long time ago. This makes Rai excited once again, and she waits to reach the beach as soon as possible. Once at the beach, Rai quickly changes into her swimsuit. She asks Tatsu about her new suit. Blushing, Tatsu replies saying it looks good, it is cute. Rai remembers swimming in the sea with Tatsu when they were kids. She laughs about it and tells Tatsu that the water is a bit cold, but it feels great. Rai and Tatsu enjoy their time together at the beach. They splash water at each other, play volleyball and whatnot, and re-sing songs. There was a time when she was in pain and depressed. But now, Rai is having the best time of her life with Tatsu. Tatsu plays the watermelon splitting while Ri guides him. After that, they eat the watermelon together. Ri covers Tatsu with sand. They catch a crab that jumps and scares Ri. They are having so much fun. After some time, Tatsu leaves for a bit to look for something. Rai is sitting there all alone when two guys come to her asking if she would like to hang out with them. Ri turns around to look at them. The guys look at her for a brief moment and get nervous. They leave saying let's not get involved with those types of girls as they always bring trouble. Confused, Ri sits there wondering what just happened. But soon, Tatsu comes back with some rented water guns. But Rai is diverted by the live music event happening nearby. Tatsu asks Ri to let them play with the water guns while wondering if it is not a good idea to let her listen to the live concert or if is it better if she does. He isn't sure what to do. Rai takes the water gun, but she is invested in the concert. She wonders about the interesting chord progression. Where did the singer change keys? She can tell where the singer slipped a little. She wonders if she wanted to add those chords into her songs, she had to use them in the intro. It would be an interesting hook to tie the chorus in. Ri takes a step back, which concerns Tatsu. He asks if something is wrong. Rai responds saying right now, she is not doing anything with the piano and with her job. Even though she isn't good at anything, she wonders if it is all right for her to have this much fun. Tatsu realizes what Rai is thinking. He tells her that he is really glad they got to hang out today. She makes everything more fun. Because of her, every day feels like it has been a little bit brighter. He thanks Rai for the day. He tells us that the ability to make someone happy from the bottom of their heart is truly amazing. He asks Rai to let go and have fun as they deserve it. With that, Ri decides to play and enjoy her time. She splashes water with her new water gun at Tatsu's face and laughs about it. Tatsu looks at her smiling and splashes water back at her while wondering if she might be a little childish. Tatsu gets invested in splashing water and Ri tries to cover herself. Because of this, she falls into the water. Just then, she gets a flashback from their night of dinner. She tells Tatsu that she thinks she might have twisted her ankle and asks him if he can carry her. Without wasting a second, Tatsu bends down and helps Ri to hop on his back. This makes Tatsu a little nervous as Rai embraces him from his back. Tatsu has a hard time trying to not think anything bad. While carrying Ri, he wonders if this isn't good. A dark side of his heart is rearing its head. He tries not to think much about it as Ri's ankle is twisted. He tries to think about something else to clear his mind. However, just then, Ri squeezes Tatsu a little, which makes Tatsu get nervous, and all of his thoughts are blurred after this. As Tatsu walks in silence while holding Ri on his back near the sea, Ri tells Tatsu that today was an amazing day. Just then, a guy from behind calls them out asking them to watch out. It turns out to be a seagull swarm. Shocked, the two stand there in shock. Ri quickly hops down and asks Tatsu to run behind the rock nearby. With that, the two run as fast as they can and save themselves. Once behind the rock, the two catch their breath while Rai says that was a close one. A little stunned, Tatsu asks Rai did she really twisted her ankle. Realizing that she has been caught red-handed, Ri apologizes for lying to Tatsu. After that, Tatsu and Ri sit side by side near the sea. They enjoy the sunset together. Ri tells Tatsu that she is glad she got to hang out with him today. She adds that seeing the things that changed and the things that didn't make her really happy. She smiles at him and tells him they should play again sometime. Her smile, for a split second, reminds Tatsu of the past. This makes him happy, and he asks Ori where are they going next. With that, she thinks about their next adventure. Since then, Ri has become pretty confident in herself. When Tatsu comes out of his house to get some work done, he spots Ri smoking outside. She looks at him and asks if he is cleaning some weeds in the lawn. She says she will put out her smoke. At work, Tatsu's client is impressed by the plans he has presented. He tells Tatsu that he doesn't want to miss this opportunity, so he would like to start discussing the contract as soon as possible. With that said, the client leaves for a bit. This makes Tatsu think that everything is going off without a hitch. At this rate, he will probably end up needing to return sooner than expected. Just then, he spots some flyers of pianos and asks about them. The client tells Tatsu that it is an event organized by the city and local piano teachers. He asks Tatsu if he has any interest in piano. Tatsu agrees and asks if he can take the flyer with him. Later, when Tatsu meets Rai in the convenience store, Rai thinks that it is so much fun when she is with him. But Tatsu is only back home because of his work. Once his work is done, he will have to go back. Before he leaves, she needs to tell him thanks for hanging out with her, just like they used to. Rai remembers her and Tatsu playing with crackers in the past. They decided to refresh their memory one more time. She looks at Tatsu while holding the cracker and asks him, "Isn't it pretty?" The two light some more crackers and enjoy their time together in the dark. They play with the crackers and have a fun night. After some time, they light the last of the fireworks. Rai wonders that she needs to let Tatsu know how thankful she is for him staying with her and playing with her. Soon the firework is out and the two sit there in the dark. Rai calls Tatsu and tells him that she loves him. She repeats herself saying she really loves him. She gets nervous and wonders what is she even saying. Confused, Tatsu looks at her without saying anything. Embarrassed, Rai takes her bucket, apologizes to Tatsu, and leaves after saying thank you for today. She says they can play sometime. Tatsu sits there trying to say something alone. Later at night, Rai thinks about what she said to Tatsu. She gets irritated with herself. She wonders next is the festival. What is she going to do when she sees him? However, she also thinks that she loves Tatsu from the bottom of her heart. On the day of the festival, Rai remembers the last time they came here. She asked Tatsu to hold her hand as she didn't want to get lost. At present, she asks Tatsu how her yukata looks on her. While remembering what she had said last time, Tatsu tells Rai that she looks beautiful. He tells her she looks really grown up. He reaches for Rai's hand, which irritates Rai. She tells Tatsu that she isn't a kid anymore. Tatsu agrees and steps forward. But Rai reaches for his hand this time. She holds his hand, stating maybe she is still a kid after all. After their brief session, they decide to go and enjoy the festival. Rai plays some games and gets gifts. Then they eat some food. Then they do some dancing. And lastly, they hold hands the whole time. After some time, Tatsu takes Rai to a place where there is no one. Rai points out that no one is here, to which Tatsu replies saying it looks like no one knows about this place. Tatsu calls Rai and stares at her for a brief moment. Then he leans forward, which makes Rai wonder if this is the time he will confess something to her. Her heart rises and she gets ready for whatever is to come next. But turns out that Tatsu has spotted a thistle on her shoulder and was just removing it. He then tells Rai that he loves her too. He says since then, she has been thinking about her a lot. There are so many parts about her that he likes. He realized that it had already been obvious. That's why, right now, he loves her more than he did in the past. He tells her that he wants to be with her even more. Rai's heart raises as Tatsu tells her this time it isn't to stop her from getting lost. He holds her hand and the two walk back home. Later at night, Rai thinks about what Tatsu had told her. She remembers him confessing his feelings and telling her that he wants to be with her. His confessions make her very happy and she puts a big smile on her face. The next day, they go to the amusement park. They enjoy different rides together, and this time, Rai leans her head on Tatsu's shoulder as her partner. Once done with the day out, they head back home. All this while, Tatsu seems to be a bit off. At last, Rai asks Tatsu about what happened as he seems to be thinking about something. Tatsu tells Rai that his work is going to be finished faster than he thought. He is going to have to head back pretty soon. Tatsu asks Ri if she would like to live with him at his place. He says his room is a bit small, but they can start looking for a place for two. He says he would like to be able to spend some more time with her. Rai blunts out saying together, living with Tatsu. Later that night, when Ri's mom comes back home from work, Rai asks her if it is alright if she moves to Tokyo with Tatsu. Her mom asks if they will be living together. Rai agrees, saying she is going to look for a job there. Her mom asks if Tatsu is still the same kid he used to be. Rai agrees, and her mom thinks about what she can do about it for some time. After some thinking, Rai's mom suggests she do what she thinks is best and make a decision for herself. She asks Ri to eat properly over there. She adds that she doesn't know how Tatsu is now, so she will be dropping by to say hello. Rai agrees to all her mom's requests. And with that, Rai packs her belongings. She gives cartons to Tatsu, stating she will be taking these two, and asks him if he can help her carry them. Tatsu tells Rai that he is very happy about their decision, and the two blush a little while packing. Rai says it would be nice if the two of them could sleep in a bigger bed. Just then, she comes across her piano and says she is thinking about getting rid of it. Taking advantage of the moment, Tatsu musters up his courage and tells Rai he wants to ask her about something. He shows Ri the flyer and tells her that some local piano teachers are holding an event, and they are looking for a one-time teacher. He says it would be nice if he could hear her piano one last time. He remembers her promise of making a song just for him so that he can listen to it even when they are apart, and reminds Ri about it. Rai replies saying she can't fulfill that promise, but she agrees to play a song one last time. Tatsu wonders if this is okay, as after Rai and he stopped talking to each other, he did nothing at all, even though he noticed that she had so few supports in her life. He thinks asking her to play the piano is just his selfishness. But just one more time, he would like to see her playing the piano, because the Ri that played the piano was the happiest. At the community center, the teachers decide to have some fun by starting off with some free play. The guest teachers are requested to go ahead and play their favorite songs for the kids. With that, the teachers begin to play songs on the piano. Some play random songs like the wheels on the bus go round and round, while some are more focused on the kids' cuteness. On the other hand, the kids near Rai are excited. The hurdle around her is suddenly feeling a bit too high. When they all start playing at once, it is hard to hear anything. But the main lead says it is fine, as she just wants everyone to have some fun. Meanwhile, Rai is panicking while she plays the songs. Because of this, the lead teacher sees her and questions why they even let her play here. But the other lady says that Rai seems really sweet. They even listened to her recording beforehand. Kids are Rai's favorite. They genuinely listen to her piano. However, the main leading teacher thinks that Rai doesn't even know that music carries emotions. If Rai plays piano that these kids shouldn't hear, she is going to have to cut off and take over. Soon, Rai gets attention from her fellow pianists as well. They look at her and think she is not even playing any music. One of the guys looks at her and wonders if delinquents are pretty scary. The other sweet girl who is playing piano also notices Rai. She looks at Rai and wonders if they are the same age. Rai is quivering at this point, which that sweet-looking girl finds adorable. Rai looks at the kids around her and wonders if their eyes are full of expectations. It feels like they are saying play something. She then looks at Tatsu and thinks those eyes are willing to accept everything about her. She thinks that this is exactly how he used to look at her when she played the songs to him in the past. This makes her wonder that if it is in front of him, she needs to be the best. And with that, Rai shows her true colors. This time, she plays the song for Tatsu and grabs everyone's attention. They are shocked and amazed by her talent. They can't believe that she can be better than them. Her music is very joyful. Rai might seem like a kid, but she isn't a kid. The sweet girl looks at Rai and wonders what kind of experiences she had. Meanwhile, Rai keeps remembering her time with Tatsu when they were kids. Just then, the lady who had listened to Rai's recording thought she was different from her recording. That song was filled with something much darker. She thanks Rai for telling these kids her story and her thoughts. The other lady looks at Rai, wondering what's with this cheerful music. She looks at the audition results in which she wasn't selected and thinks it stings. If only her piano was like Rai's, she would have been accepted. Rai looks up to see that all the kids are smiling, including Tatsu. Everyone is having fun. This makes her happy, and she smiles as well. Rai wonders if she did play for these kids, but this is not why she was playing. She gets it now. She was glad to be playing because she could make others happy. She found her true inspiration behind her amazing music while everyone clapped for her. Once done, the main lady thanked everyone. She tells the 3 pianists that they played amazing music. She felt her heart dance. She says it makes her so happy. She was quite moved by all their music. She says she thinks she will play a little something as well. And with that, she takes a seat near one of the pianos and plays the music. Her music makes Ray wonder if this person stacks up with some of the best musical artists she knows. Others also say that she seems to be a pro, and question why is she teaching piano courses out in the boonies. Meanwhile, the other lady in black thinks it is obvious that Isojima is only here on a whim. She just enjoys teaching. She took her in on a whim as well. Soon, these classes will become as famous as her. Once done with the music, Isojima thanks everyone. She decides to start from the basics. With that, the teachers begin to teach the basics. Everyone sings along and plays the music. The teachers guide the children and they all have a great time together. After the session is over, Isojima asks Rai if she would like to become one of her teachers. However, Rai apologizes and slightly declines the offer. The lady in black says it would have been nice to talk about piano with her more. With that said, Isojima and the lady in black get on stage and ask everyone to sign up if they would like their children to learn piano with them. This makes Ray wonder if these two are really together. Isojima tells the lady in black, Mifune, that if she wants to go, she can. She already has more than enough skills to pass her audition. But Mifune looks at the kids around her and tells Isojima she would like to stay a bit longer here. She says after seeing that girl, right today, she was finally able to grasp something. She requests Isojima to allow her to study under her. This makes Isojima tell Mifune that she is a cute kid. After the piano thing was over, Tatsu and Rai headed back home. Ri tells Tatsu that today was fun. Tatsu is glad to see Rai happy. She looks at her hand and says her hands are still remembered. Her hands won't stop shaking. She says she still wants to play piano. This stuns Tatsu as he looks at Rai thinking what would happen next. Rai tells Tatsu that she has saved enough money from her part-time job to last about a year. She says she is going to focus on piano for just 1 year so that she can debut. Even if it doesn't work out, she is still going to continue with piano. She will be fine with giving up on debuting because the person that she wants to play her music the most will be by her side. Tatsu responds saying if that is the case, they can start looking for an apartment that lets them have a piano. He says he can help support her as well. Ri asks Tatsu if this is okay, to which Tatsu responds saying he is the one who was sort of hoping that all of this would happen. Touched by his response, Rai thanks Tatsu for everything. At night, Tatsu is very happy. He thinks Rai is going to play piano again. He remembers waiting for her in the past outside her house, hoping she would show up. Tears fill in his eyes as he thinks about Ri's decision. Rai also tells her mom about her decision to try to debut again. Her mom responds by saying didn't she already tell her to do what she thinks she would like. Ri says she might not be able to make any money during that time, so she might not be able to support their family finances. Ri's mom asks if there is something that is worrying her. Ri responds by saying because dad left them, they don't have enough money, so she figured that her mom was working more to support the two of them. Ri's mom replies and says the reason she took on so much extra work was because she wanted Ri to live her life however she liked. She says there is no reason for Ri to be burdened by her mom's life as well. This is the life that she chose for herself. She remembers Ri saying she was going to work hard. This makes her mom cry as she says she should have talked to Ri. She apologizes to Ri, continuously stating she shouldn't have separated from her dad. After starting to talk with her mom a little bit more, they were on much better terms now. The next morning, Ri's mom tells her that she cut down on her work a bit. She asks Ri what she wants for dinner tonight. Happy, Ri responds saying she would like Mama's hamburger steak. After that, Ri goes to see her dad. She takes a train, after which her dad is waiting for her. She looks at him saying long time no see. They talk about each other. Her dad asks the last time when he saw her, she was in high school. He points out that she dyed her hair as well. Ri asks about Sane and Kao, who are her dad's new wife and kid. He responds with a yes. She asks why he told her just recently about his new family. He replies saying it is because her mother stopped him from telling her. Even before separation, he had realized that her heart belonged to another person. He asks Ri if that is what she wants to know. Ri says even if she just recently got to know about his new family, there is no way she would have disliked Mama or Papa. Ri asks her dad if he still loves her Mama, to which he agrees. This makes Ri thinks it is a lie, but it isn't. It is a lie, but it is. Her dad asks if she is still playing piano. Ri says she stopped playing, but she recently started again. Dad says he always thought she could make it big. This makes Ri happy. Ri asks if he has quit smoking, to which her dad says he stopped as Sanane and Cow didn't like it. Once she is about to leave, he asks if Ri is sure she doesn't want him to walk her back, to which she agrees. Her dad asks her to take care of herself. This makes her take each step faster as she wonders if it is Papa, but it isn't. It isn't Papa, but it is. Once home, Ri quickly goes to her room and removes the cover from her piano. All the memories rush down in her mind. How she started playing the piano, the very first notes, and the strange sounds. Ri opens her cupboard stacked with composition notebooks. After she stopped playing piano, she only continued to compose for guitar. She wonders if this is okay for her to be spoiled like this. Is it okay for her to just try a little bit more? She asks herself to allow herself to try a little bit more. Soon, Tatsu and Ri meet each other, and Ri apologizes for ending up moving into his apartment, even though she had only planned to stay there while they looked for a new place. Tatsu says it is fine as it means there is even more time to have fun. She looks at the toy piano and says he actually ended up saving it. Tatsu says when he came over the other day to help pack, he was thinking, is that actually it? Ri plays the toy piano, which makes Tatsu laugh as he realizes it is actually really broken. Ri says she will get it fixed up and tuned. Tatsu gets flashbacks of Ri playing the piano. He remembers her saying when she grows up, she is going to sing and play piano. Then she will make songs just for him. That way, he can listen to her play even when they are apart. He looks at her and tells her that he loves her. Ri replies saying she loves her too. He tells her that even if she doesn't fulfill her promise, there is no way he would ever dislike her. The thing that he loves the absolute most isn't her promise or her piano. It's her smiling face that shines like the sun. With that said, he makes love to her. Stunned, Ri looks at Tatsu and asks for one more time. After that, the two greet each other by at the gate. Tatsu makes love to Ri one more time and leaves. Once inside the home, the two blush while remembering their time together. That night, Ri can't sleep at all, so she decides to compose music. She writes songs about Mama, Papa, and Tatsu. She may not be there to witness it, but they are all standing on their own 2 feet. She grips her pen tightly and thinks this is her life, and she is going to live it properly. The next day, Tatsu is having breakfast when his mother asks if he went to see Ri's other Tobe. Tatsu agrees and remembers Tobe asking him to take care of her daughter. With that, his mom suggests having a face-to-face with their families. And just like that, they all end up face-to-face with each other. The two mothers greet each other. Tatsu and Ri look at them thinking this is kind of scary. Ashihara and Tatsu's dad greet Ri as well, stating it's been a while. It is good to see her. Ashihara apologizes to Ri as they never did anything for her. Tobe says they were trying to reach out and talk to her, but she was the one who put distance between them. For her daughter's sake, she should not have done that. She should not have cut their connections off like that. Ashihara says she was a bit meddled at the time. She is glad they can talk with each other again. Tatsu's dad interrupts the woman and tells Ashihara that she hasn't seen anything yet. He asks everyone if it is all right if he has a drink. Annoyed, Ashihara says this is unbelievable. Tatsu's dad says Tatsu takes after his mother, so he feels like he can be someone Ri can rely on. He asks Ri if he has been living up to that. Ri says in the past, she always felt like Tatsu was very similar to his dad. But recently, he was the one that pulled her out of the dark place. Being able to be together with the person she has loved for so long makes her very happy. This makes their parents look at them with a question in their eyes, are the grade schoolers or something like that. Tobe asks Tatsu what he thinks about Ri. Tatsu responds by saying he really loves her, which makes Ri blush. He says when he is with Ri, each day, he feels like he is able to give it all for her sake. He would really like to be with Ri even more. Being with Ri, just the two of them. He requests Tobe to allow him to be with her daughter, Ri. Ri apologizes to Tatsu, saying it is probably a bit too early for that, but she is glad. The two look at each other, which makes their parents wonder if they should just let them get married already. Ashihara asks Toad if she has anything to say. Toad wonders as a mother, what should she say? She thinks it would be too heavy to talk about things as a mother. She says her daughter, Ri, tends to think too much about certain things, but she is a very considerate kid. If they support each other, she is sure that they will be fine. Flashbacks of her daughter rush down her mind. She tries to control herself but fails. Tears begin coming out of her eyes as she asks Tatsu to make her daughter happy. This makes Ri cry as well. Tatsu looks at them, assuring Toad that he will make Rai happy. After that, they all go together in the same car while Rai smiles like sunshine. They enter the family restaurant where they used to go back then. They have some drinks and enjoy their time. They all have a good time like a family after years. After that, Alphard brings out their brand new product. She puts the cake on the table, which makes Rai wonder what is this. The cake is a celebration of love between two neighbors. Turns out, Toad had set up a call-up with her company months ago. Alphard is happy for Rai as she asks if she has started to play the piano again. Ri tells Alphard that when she came here all by herself, she came and talked to her and she seemed to genuinely care. She really supported her at the time. So, she thanks Alphard for everything. Touched by Ray's beautiful words, Alphard says this is because they are friends. She says she only ever saw her writing music, so next time she would love to see her play as well. Ri says she will definitely play for Alphard next time. And like that, the day finally comes. Rai embraces her mother for the last time, and Tatsu and Rai leave for Tokyo. Toad hopes that Rai will take care of herself. Saddened, she is about to leave when Ashihara calls her by her old name Ri. She asks Ri if she would like to hang out together just like in the past. She suggests let's not hang out as parents but as friends. Happy, Ri thanks Ashihara and calls her by her old name Manami, stating she will be looking forward to it. And like that, they all go out as friends. Ri cries about if she would have been more tolerant during the marriage. Things would be like this now. But Manami tells Ri that it is all Takashi's fault. At a time like this, they need to be comforting. On the other hand, Rai and Tatsu reach their new apartment. They enter their new home together and think it is pretty quiet. After the whole day, the two decide to sleep in a big bed. Rai stares at Tatsu thinking he is so cool. Just then, she gets shocked after realizing that when she wakes up, the person she loves will be right before her eyes. She doesn't think her heart is going to be able to take it. The next day, Tatsu comes back home when he tells Rai that he will make dinner tomorrow. Rai asks him to go and sit down. She brings out the dinner, which turns out to be Hamburg steak. Tatsu eats dinner and enjoys it while Rai looks at her smiling. She tells Tatsu that Mama taught her how to make it. She says next time she wants Tatsumi's mama to teach her cooking as well. This makes Tatsu question Rai if she is sure about it. After that, Ri decides to put her nose to the grindstone. She plays the piano while thinking this is her favorite sound. A flashback of Ri buying the toy piano is shown. Rai bought the toy piano from an old man who asked if this was a gift. Ri told him that this was a present for her daughter. She is a kid who doesn't usually ask for much. She thinks Rai is an unusual girl and wonders if she actually has a lot of things she wants. The old man packed the piano saying he was sure she would like it. When the toy piano was opened by Ri, she was stunned. Rai was very happy that Santa bought the piano for her. She jumped a lot that time and thanked Santa, which made Ri happy. In Tokyo, when Tatsu comes back home from work, he finds Rai in her old self. She has dyed her hair back to normal. Upon asking, Ri tells Tatsu that she doesn't have to be someone that she is not anymore. Now, she is starting to move forward once again. After that, she begins to work really hard on herself. She composes the music, sings, and makes the music more better. After that, she publishes her song on YouTube and gets many likes and comments. She looks at her video, which has 5,080 views, while Tatsu lets her know that the dinner is ready. And like that, she works hard even more with each achievement. Each time, she keeps saying one more time and gets better at what she loves to do. Soon her audition day is here. She gets ready and is about to leave to go to the audition. Tatsu asks her to take care while Rai shakes. He embraces her and lets her know no matter what happens, please let him hear her play the piano again. Happy with whatever happens, Ri agrees and embraces Tatsu in return. At the audition and Sun's label, she remembers what happened last time. She was asked if she even knew what she was playing. When she entered the audition room, the man sitting there asked her to take a deep breath and give it another try. but she wasn't able to live up to expectations. But this time, when she enters the audition, she introduces herself as Riri Tobe. The interviewers looks at her stating she seems to be pretty relaxed. She asks her to go ahead and start whenever she is ready. With that, Ri sits at her seat thinking right before her eyes, there is a piano. She starts with a bang and gives her best. The interviewers think her music is bright yet full of darkness. Sun's label, a label for those like the sun. They look for people whose music shines like the sun, but also reflects the shadows created by that light. They think Ray really read them like a book. They wonder if she would be promoted to 10 to 20-year-olds. The appeal of her music to younger people would be a great selling point. It is like her piano and voice speaks to them. But it is not like she is trying to make them listen. Rather, what she wants is to converse with others. It seems like she is enjoying herself, almost like a child would. Little Ri would be very happy to see herself grow up into a girl like this. After the audition is over, the interviewers discuss her music. They say on the whole, she played at a high level, but she has a couple of quirks. She only played on around 30 to 40 keys at a time. They wonder if a toy piano has about that many keys. They could really feel it in her playing. They think they make toy pianos well nowadays. They are fantastic keyboard instruments. They say she would probably love it since she was small. They think she would be a great fit. And like that, Rai passes the audition. When she reads the letter of audition results, Tatsu and Ri are very happy. They embrace each other like kids and Rai cries because all her hard work is finally showing. She then tells Ri about the audition, which makes Ri happy. Proud, Ri tells everyone about Rai and says her daughter is amazing. And soon, everyone is hearing Ri's music. Ri's papa also gets the album of her playing the piano. In no time, Rai is being broadcast live. Last year, she made her major debut, which was released on music streaming services. Recently, her music has been all the rage on social media. She has become a rising star, singer-songwriter Ri. She is interviewed by a lady who asks if it is cold today. She asks about the period of time when she wasn't able to play the piano. She asked if there was something that caused her to resume playing again. Rai agrees and says she was saved by someone. She was in a really dark place, but to her, they were just like the sun. Thanks to them, she was able to pick herself back up. She is really grateful. The lady asks if there is anything Rai would like to say to that person. She says it might reach them and asks Ri to go ahead and say it to the camera. So Rai replies on the TV live, she is making stew for dinner, so make sure to hurry home. Tatsu hears Rai on the TV while he is at work. The interviewer is shocked after hearing Rai. The people in Tatsu's office say her new single For You is out today. They guess she was married after all. She had a ring on her finger. Tatsu says he promised that he would be home early and lets everyone know he is done for the day. He leaves the workplace to go back home while looking forward to the stew Rai made for him. It turns out they indeed got married. When Tatsu gets back home, Ri suggests eating the stew while it is still hot. Shocked, Tatsu says it has extra huge chunks. Ri says his mama showed him how to make it. They too sit down and munch on the big chunks of food and enjoy their time. After having the delicious dinner, Rai asks Tatsu if she can have today's love. And with that, Tatsu makes love to Ri. She embraces Tatsu while thinking this is the time of the day when she heals the most. She can't get enough of Tatsu's squeeze. After that, they are about to sleep when Rai asks Tatsu if she can have one last Tatsu squeeze. He looks at her questioning what she said. Blushing, she replies saying nothing. But Tatsu opens his arms, asking if this is what she wants. Ri comes close and embraces Tatsu once more. She looks at the table where their rings are placed. Even now, that dazzling moment is still fresh in her mind. She entered the church and Ri lowered the veil. Ri told Ri that she was beautiful and held her daughter's hand and walked her down the aisle. Tatsu and Ri made love as their marriage vows were completed. She then threw the flower bouquet, which landed on none other than Isujima. Their wedding cake was made by Alphard. They cut the cake, and then Ri played the piano for everyone. She thanks Ri Tobe for giving birth to her. Her dad also saw the photos of their wedding and wished her happiness. Meanwhile, Omi was being teased by a girl while he kept asking her to leave him alone. He told her that when she grows up, she will see that he isn't as amazing as she thinks he is. But the girl doesn't want to leave him. In the nursery school, the cute and sweet piano lady named Narita plays the music now and takes care of the kids. She thinks being an adult is a lot of work, but kids are cute, so it is fine. Rory also decides to quit smoking as she doesn't need them anymore. But she can't stop smoking. But she decides to drink it last time as she is happy. Just then, Tatsu brings some coffee for her. Ray tells him that tomorrow is going to be a long day as well. Tatsu assures her that it will be okay and asks her not to work herself too hard. Rai looks at Tatsu, saying the person who will stop her from working herself up is sitting right next to her. The two look at each other while smiling. After that, they go to bed to sleep. There, Ri asks Tatsu to always stay by her side, forever and ever. She tells him that she loves him. Tatsu replies saying he loves her too. They will be together forever and always.